Hello and welcome back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where last time we played through the Leaf Cup on the 100cc, and today we'll be playing through the Lightning Cup on 100cc, and we're going to be using Metal Mario, a completely necessary addition to the game. And we also unlocked a new wheel set last time, and that is the Leaf tires, so we're going to be using those today, alongside the appropriate vehicle, the Streetle. Didn't plan this, but it works out nicely. And along with the parachute, here are the stats. And once again, we're going to make sure that Smart Steering and Auto Acceleration are indeed disabled. And so without further ado, let's dive into the Lightning Cup on 100cc. Let's do this. So I didn't intend for today's topic to kind of indirectly link to something that I briefly alluded to yesterday, but I don't really particularly have anything that is annoying me today that I like to rant about, because the past few episodes basically just made me ranting about a bunch of things that have annoyed me in recent days, so I don't have anything like that today. But I do have something that popped up that I kind of want to say something about, that kind of relates to something I mentioned in passing yesterday. So in yesterday's episode, one thing I mentioned was about how, it was a very offhanded comment, but I mentioned that how Star Wars is slowly corrupting the Disney parks, because a little bit of backstory about me is that one of my earliest memories is going to Disney World as a kid, and I've been back there I've been fortunate enough to be able to go back there several times since, and I absolutely adore those parks. However, because I have a particular disdain for Star Wars, not Star Wars, like, because I know that something with the Star Wars community is that you're either on the team of the original trilogy being better than the sequels or vice versa. I don't play into that. I don't really care. I've seen all 9 main Star Wars movies. I haven't seen Rogue One or Solo, nor have I seen any of the expanded universe material like the TV shows, nor have I read the books. I'm a very, very casual viewer of Star Wars. I don't really have any emotional investment in the franchise whatsoever, at least in a positive way, but I also don't vitriolically despise any of it. I mean, I played LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga when I was a kid, and I have a full 100% walkthrough of that game on my channel, and it's one of my most popular series I've ever made, so, you know, there's a little part of me that's like, alright, so this is pretty okay. But I don't, like, Star Wars is not intrinsically linked to my soul the same way something like Halo or Battle for Bikini Bottom or Dragons of 3D is. Like, those games have very, very close relations to my heart. They're very, very close to me, so I would not, like, those obviously I have a very close personal and emotional attachment to. I can't say that for Star Wars, even though I've made memories playing LEGO Star Wars with friends. I just don't really care. Like, I go see a movie, I'm like, okay, that was a Star Wars movie, alright, great, I'll move on with my life now. So, you know, the movies in general don't really do anything for me. However, I've come to have a disdain for the franchise as a whole in recent years. Mainly, I mean, if you want to talk like the consumer side of it, or not, I guess not the consumer, but the business side of it, in the sense that there's like 1,000 new Star Wars TV shows, and you just have to think, like, at what point do you stop and go, alright, maybe we should consider this thing called quality over quantity. I almost said the reverse. I almost said what Star Wars is doing right now, not what I actually believe. Which is, like, at what point do you stop and say, hey, maybe we should prioritize quality over quantity instead of shoveling out, what was it, 10, maybe 11 TV shows? I don't know, it just seems excessive. Seems like they might be pushing it a little too far in terms of the insane amount of Star Wars content coming out. I don't earnestly believe that they can put the same amount of quality and attention into all of them and have them all be of quality as a result, but I guess that's a wait and see. But that's not the main reason why I wanted to bring up Star Wars today in this episode. And this isn't, what I'm about to say isn't exactly the thing I'm going to talk about now isn't the main reason why I want to bring this up either, but it is a way that I can tie it back to what I was talking about yesterday, where I mentioned that the Star Wars franchise is kind of slowly corrupting the Disney parks, and not all of them, mainly just Hollywood studios, because for those of you who don't know, I will happily bring you up to speed, and that Hollywood Studios used to be a park about the magic of movie making. And as someone who is perpetually fascinated by behind-the-scenes documentaries and the making of a movie, the making of a TV show, the making of video games, I'm as an aspiring creator myself, I am perpetually fascinated and intrigued by those kinds of behind-the-scenes documentaries and those kinds of that sort of material. So, the idea of a theme park that's entirely based around the idea of pulling back the curtain and the magic of movie making sounds phenomenal. So, and they used to have that. That used to be what that park was all about. They had stuff like the Great Movie Ride, which admittedly wasn't so much about showing the magic of movie making, more as a celebration of movies in general, but it was still really cool, and they should not have gotten rid of it, but that's a topic for a different day. There was the Magic of Disney Animation, which was a short little presentation all about, well, the magic of Disney Animation and kind of what the average life of a Disney animator is and what goes into bringing an animated character to life. And then after the show, you can go into this area where you could learn to draw your own character and record voiceovers for some, like dub over some of the more popular Disney scenes, things like that. So it was like an animation meet and greet kind of area, kind of thing. There's a lot to it. I think they were even drawing class and stuff like that. It was really really cool thing. There was the Streets of America, which was literally like a movie backdrop or a movie backlot set where you could walk along recreations of New York City and San Francisco and things like that. And then there was stuff like the Lights, Windows, Action Extreme Stunt Show, which is all about showing off car stunts. Indiana Jones Epic Spectacular, which is fortunately still there, but hasn't reopened yet, so who knows what the fate of that show is. They damn well better not close that. Showing off, the behind the scenes of how some of the, showing off real stunts by real stunt doubles, and pulling back the curtains, showing how it all works, what the dangers and safety precautions go into place behind crafting a stunt show like that. And just all around, it was just a really, and of course it had, your standard thrill rides as well, kind of still keeping on theme with stuff like Twilight and Tower of Terror, things like that. And it was really cool, and and also the American Idol experience, which is like your opportunity to audition for a pseudo American Idol show, and that if you won, you could get the golden ticket, which would allow you to skip the line for the real American Idol show and get to the front of the line. But none of that's there anymore. The only thing that's still there is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, which I still adore that show, but it hasn't reopened in a long time, so who knows if they're ever going to open it again. But that's all gone. Oh, also I forgot the biggest one, the Studio Backlot Tour, which is literally all about taking you behind the scenes of like what a typical production studio would look like behind the scenes, and it was just, you could look at videos of some of the stuff if you want to see it for yourself. It was all really cool. But like I said, none of that's there anymore, and I wonder why. So ever since Disney acquired the rights to Lucasfilm in 2012, by which I mean they bought them out, is that basically they've been scrambling to put Star Wars anywhere they can in the Disney parks. So yeah, let's go through the list of everything I just mentioned. And admittedly, some of it wasn't replaced with Star Wars. For instance, the American Idol experience was replaced with the Frozen Sing-Along celebration, which is actually a really entertaining show. Although I don't know that it will be anymore now that one of the lead actors in that show is left, so who knows. But that was honestly an entertaining replacement that kind of kept on theme, but not really. However, things like the Great Movie Ride have been replaced by Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Again, not a Star Wars replacement, but still, this will tie into a point later, I promise. The Magic of Disney Animation, that's been replaced with a Star Wars meet and greet area. Great. The entirety of the Streets of America, which encapsulates the movie backlots I was talking about, the Studio Backlot Tour, the Lights, Windows, Action Extreme Stunt Show, all that has been turned into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is just an entire land dedicated to nothing but Star Wars. It's insane. It's actually ridiculous how much of that park's identity is being lost, because like the whole, and you might say it's just, oh, you're an elitist, you want to keep everything the same forever, which no. I do not. One thing I've said forever is that the Great Movie Ride desperately needed an update. Because the idea was that it's supposed to be a snapshot of some of the most celebrated classic movies of all time, but like the further on you move through time, the lens of what the classics are identified as is going to shift. So, like, for instance, what would be considered a classic to someone who grew up in the 1970s is going to be different from what someone would consider a classic to be growing up in, the 90s and beyond, right? So, like, Casablanca, or, which, obviously, I haven't seen them, so I can't say for myself, but movies that obviously struck a chord with people and were really phenomenal will always have a special place in history, but I would advocate that as, as generations grow up and as new people start coming to the parks, you need to update the Great Movie Ride to kind of account for what for what would consider to be a classic for the new generations, if I'm explaining myself correctly. So I'm not an advocate for just keeping it all the same forever. I'm an advocate for keeping things in line with what your park is supposed to be. And if your park is supposed to, in theory, on paper, be all about the magic movie making, pulling back the curtain and showing off all that, maybe don't just maybe don't turn 50% of your park into Star Wars land. And then just sprinkle Star Wars, because it's not just that. They also added a bunch of, like, street parades in the theme of Star Wars, street stage shows in the center stage of the park. It's everywhere, and I hate it. I hate how much Star Wars is corrupting that park in particular. So, you know, even though the movies don't really have a reason to piss me off, just this franchise in general, not a big fan. Of course, you may be wondering why exactly I brought all this up today, because I assure you I didn't just randomly decide I wanted to rant about the Star Wars franchise, because I mentioned at the beginning that there was nothing in particular that was pissing me off today. So you may be wondering what caused me to start thinking about all this. Well, simple answer is that, oh, that's a red shell. Okay, am I going to lose my first place spot here? Yes, I am. I had a feeling I was, oh, don't hit me. Okay, I thought it was going to be another red shell that hit me. But, the reason why I started thinking about all this is because as of the day that I'm recording this, the Star Wars Visions trailer came out today, so that's kind of what led me to be like, hey, Star Wars is a thing, I can talk about the trailer. And I just spent the past 3 races not talking about the trailer. And it's really just because I don't really have much thoughts to say about the trailer, it just got me thinking about Star Wars as a whole. But if you're curious what it is, it's like, in layman's terms, it's like Star Wars meets anime, so that they collaborated with a bunch of studios that focus on creating particularly anime content, so... And then they're creating Star Wars stories in that style, which, you know, again, my reaction to it is the same of my reaction to every other Star Wars piece of content, which is just, that sure is Star Wars. Okay, moving on with my life now. I don't really, I saw some really weird lightsaber contraption that just looks like the most impractical thing I've ever seen in my life, which is just, people are defending it by saying, oh, the rule of cool. It's like, I don't know why I didn't get rid of the banana to use the super horn to destroy the spiny shell. Fortunately, I didn't need to, since I'm so far ahead of everyone else, but also I guess I would have lost the super horn. But, a lot of people are defending it by saying, oh, really cool. It's like, I don't really care if it looks cool or not, if it needs to make sense first. Like, it's absurd how many people will use the rule of cool to defend things, even if they make absolutely no logical sense whatsoever. But that's a rant for a different day. Maybe we can talk about that in tomorrow's episode. But for now, in just summary, I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars franchise because what it's been doing to the Disney parks, and the movies themselves don't really do anything for me. But Star Wars Visions, my reaction to it is the same as everything else, which is that I am ambivalent, but I'm happy that it exists for people who adore the Star Wars franchise, I guess. Anyway, that's the Lightning Cup done, so let's go view the results. You have collected 700 coins, and a new vehicle customization option has been unlocked. And we'll see what that is in the next episode. But for now, that will be it for this. Oh, right, the credits again. Gotta skip those. But for now, that will be it for this video. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time, and I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Goodbye.